Hi, my name's Eloise Hanson, reporter at Boutique Hotel News, and welcome to the latest edition of Checking In. In the series, we speak to hoteliers and general managers to get an exclusive glimpse into their careers, their lives, and their ambitions. I'm here with Rocco Bova, general manager at Chablé Resort. Thanks for joining us. Before we begin, why don't you tell us a little about Chablé Resort?
Sure. Thank you, Eloise, and thank you for inviting me to this short podcast. I'm really honored. Chablé is a boutique resort focusing on wellness. We are based in the Yucatan area of Mexico, near the city of Merida. We are in the middle of the jungle, and it's a small resort with only 40 units, 40 villas. However, each villa is very big. It's like a house. So we start with about 200 square meters minimum, up to nearly 1,000 square minimum for the largest villa. We also have a 9-hole golf course. We have about 50 hectares of land. So it's a very large resort, a small conference center for about 200 people, and many amenities, including, one of the best spa in the world. We won a total of 44 awards since the opening, and we are really proud of having this resort as it's a new brand. We don't belong to any international group. It's a Mexican brand. It's actually the first luxury Mexican-born brand. So we're extremely proud to have now 2 hotels. A third one actually is already taken over about a month ago, and is still in the rebranding process. And a fourth one should open in the next 18 to 24 months in the Sea of Cortez. So this is a little bit about Chablé.
Thank you, Rocco. So let's begin with the checking in column. So why do you enjoy your job?
Sure. In fact, Eloisa, is not really a job. It's now about 25 years that I've been working in this industry, and I have to say that this is not really a job for me. It is a calling. And when you discover what your calling is, then you don't really work anymore. And for me, it's been a pleasure to be part of this industry. I love it, and I really don't work.
Why do you find your job challenging?
Well, it may sound a bit repetitive, but we all know that working in a hotel is never the same. Every day is different. You have different situation, because we work with people, we work with humans. But one of the things that I really love is interaction with guests, or even with my own staff, interaction with new cultures, the ability to learn new languages. And now I can speak 4 languages fluently, for example, and challenging, probably not, maybe interesting. That's for me how I interpret a challenge.
Mm-hmm. What is your best achievement in business?
I think is to become trustworthy. When you work in any business, as a matter of fact, not just in the hospitality, but because we are a people-based industry, then the most important is to build trust. And the moment you realize that people trust you, then you can influence them. And over the years, I made many connections. I'm very grateful also, for so many people that I met along my life. And often they contact me for advice, for coaching, for assistance. And honestly, coming from a very tiny village in the south of Italy, I would never imagine to get this far in my life. So I'm very happy for it and grateful.
Mm-hmm. And what about your worst mistake?
Well, nobody's perfect. We all know that, and yes, I do have my story about making a mistake. So during a business meeting about 20 years ago, I accepted to drink, and honestly, I cannot drink very well. I'm not very I'm not very good at drinking, so it was actually quite embarrassing. I lost my face, and since these days, I promise that I will never do it again. So I recommend as well to the people, to the audience, to be respectful when you are in a business meeting, and particularly you should know your limit, and you should know when to say no.
What are you yet to accomplish, Rocco?
If you ask me this as a personal question, nothing. I'm very happy. I think I'm very accomplished. I have a wonderful family that's been following me for more than 20 years. We've been changing 11 countries together, and my kids as well. They've been very patient to follow me and change school every time, change friendship, and so on and so forth. I'm very healthy, and even during this kind of situation, it's also very important to be healthy. I made friends in all corners of the world, from Japan to Mexico, and God knows how many more I'll be meeting, over the course of my life. And I I live a honest and dignified life. I have no debt. um, I work in one of the best hotels in the world. So honestly, I think nothing. I'm very happy with what I have, and very, very grateful.
Mhm. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Um, Maybe to be 5 inches taller. It's tough when you need to reach high. My my parents also, they're not very tall, so I guess I took from them. But just aside, it's maybe you should ask my wife. I think I don't know. It's difficult to judge yourself sometimes.
And what if you could change one thing about the industry? What would that be?
This is a good question. I like that. You see, when I joined the industry over 25 years ago, I knew already that it was not an easy industry to work in, that you had to sacrifice a lot, work long hours, weekends, festivities, and so on and so forth. So things have not changed really much, since I joined, and probably before that were the same. I don't know what people expectations are in order to change. This cannot change. We work when people go on vacation. So unfortunately, there is no way we can change that. What I what I would like to change, or maybe convince other people and influence the younger generation, is to remove that away. Remove what is not good about this industry and put in what is good about it. Because what about you know the people that you meet? What about the countries you can visit? What about the language and culture you can learn? There are so many things, so many benefits in working in this business that no other industry can give you that. So, and on top of that, you get paid for it. So imagine you work in a luxury hotel and you can participate in incredible conferences where you normally have to pay $2,000 or $3,000 to attend, or there is a concert, or there is you name it. There are so many things that we do in hotels, and people only look at the negative side. So, frankly speaking, I hope this perception can be changed, and people understand that actually there are huge benefits to working hospitality.
Hmm. And what are your top 3 bucket list items?
Well, one actually is to start working on my personal hotel concepts. I have my little dream in my drawer. It's been there for quite some time now, and one day I would really like to work on this concept, to develop this concept. So hopefully this is gonna happen at some point. If my kids get ready to begin their working life, my son is just 1 year away to finish college and to enter maybe university or maybe to begin his working life. I'm not sure. And my daughter is only 2 years away, so very very short. I really hope that they can be flying on their own. And this year, actually, I turned 50, so I have reached a milestone, and to be half a century older, I mean, this is great, and I feel really happy.
Mm-hmm. And following that, what is your life philosophy?
Well, this is for me is it sums up in one word, which is karma. So whatever you do, it will come back to you. So I've been raised in a very humble family. My parents always taught me good values, good principles, and one of them was actually to always do good and forget. And I live by them, and I'm grateful, that I've been raised, in such a manner.
Mm-hmm. And what is your favorite song, book, or film?
Okay, well, I can give you the three in order. My, or maybe not so much in order, but one of the best books I've read is the biography of Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. That was very inspiring. Nothing to do with the movie. Very very inspiring. Very thick book, but if you really like to read, you can get this through in 2 3 days. Very inspiring. Then many many years ago, I think it's probably 15 or 20 years old of this movie, but it's a very nice movie, which is called Paid Forward by Mimi Leder. And this is also another inspiring movie. Again, to always pay back. Because when you receive goodness, you also have to pay it back. So again, maybe we go back to the karma philosophy of my life. And finally, the Toto, it's my favorite rock band from the 80s, mid 70s, early 80s. I love it. I still listen to their songs nearly every day. But when I come to work or go back home after a long day, it's very relaxing, even though it's quite rocky. But I love it.
What would your ideal weekend be?
I cannot do this anymore as I am in the jungle. But when I was living, in a beach resort or working beach resort, I used to go shelling by the beach or snorkeling or diving. So this is one of the best way for me, at least, to meditate and to get into a state of wellness. Because you need to become also or how to say, maybe to detach yourself from reality and concentrate uniquely in what you're actually doing. And shelling for me has been a pastime since I was a child. So that's what I like to do.
If you could share a motivational message with the industry, what would you say?
Well, I'm not so old. I'm just about to turn 50, but I've been through a number of crises, similar, obviously not to the same extent of the current one. However, I've seen obviously the trend, and as everybody's saying, whatever has a start has also an end. Um, Even though we don't really know when this is going to really end and when life will come back to a new normal. What I like to say is that, first of all, you should not stop and think of who you are now. Is that you need to start to think of who you're going to be after this. Even myself, I'm already thinking how to reinvent myself. What would I do if I cannot do what I'm doing now? So I'm already working on that. And to be honest with you, I'm preparing for plan B, C, D, and probably even up to the plan Z. because we all know how many letters the alphabet has. Second, yes, obviously to live on a negative mindset doesn't really help. Watching news doesn't really help. So yes, you should keep abreast with what's happening around the world, because you need to know, obviously, as a business manager, you need to understand what's going on around you. But watch a lot of things that can also help you motivate you, can help you get the best out of you. And the last but not the least, surround yourself with positive people. Because if you surround yourself with people that they only cry and they only say, oh my God, what am I going to do, and so on and so forth, then sooner or later you will get this influence. And the least that you want to have is to get people to influence you negatively. Now, we need to be realistic. This is a reality. So yes, we cannot just always think that everything is going to be okay. We need to be realistic, but we need to also do something about it. So these are the three pieces of advice that I can give. I'm applying them to myself, and it seems to work, at least, Eloise. So I hope it's going to help as well the audience.
Thank you. And that sums up our time checking in. If you'd like to hear more and to keep up to date with industry news, head over to boutiquehotelnews.com and sign up to our weekly newsletter.